It has been known for some time that in 1968 Patrick planned to make a feature film version of Henrik Ibsen's Brand, with himself taking the title role. He had previously played the part in 1959 on stage at the Lyric Opera House Hammersmith, for which he received unanimous praise from the theatre-going public and critics alike, as Michael Mayer, the play's translator, recalls.
And after that performance, he got the most, well, the whole production got sensational notices, and so did he. And we'd had bad luck with the first couple of months of that season, Danton's death and then Strindberg's creditors, because there'd been fog followed by snow, or the other way round, I forget. And the old Lyric Hammersmith was very difficult to find. The entrance was at the back in a side street. And we'd lost money, of course, and now suddenly you couldn't get seats for Brand, and we were pretty full for a month, and it was an 800-seater, the old Lyric Hammersmith. So we thought we'd keep it on for another month. We opened in April, we thought we'd keep it on for May. And what happens that May? But there's a heat wave in London in May, and a really bad one, and nobody wanted to go and see Ibsen in Hammersmith in a heat wave, and so we lost in that month what we'd made in the previous month, and we had to close the season, and we thought we'd been a failure, but I've met so many people in the more than 30 years since then, theatre people, actors, directors, ordinary people, who have said that 59 season was one of the seminal theatrical experiences of my life.
With the final episode of The Prisoner out of the way, Patrick seemed to be in the perfect position to at last fulfill his dream and commit his definitive performance to celluloid. But as history proves, it was not to be. So how far did the pre-production for this epic film reach? Now, obviously the starting point would be a script, and since Michael Mayer had translated the play for the 1959 stage production, he was approached by Patrick to assist with the screenplay.
Sort of 7 or 8 years later, I hadn't heard from Pat since then, my phone rang and a voice said, "Is that Michael Mayer, translator?" And I said, "Yes." And the voice said, "This is Patrick Mcgoohan, sometime actor." I said, "Hello, Pat." Of course, I'd seen a lot of him doing Danger Man, and he'd done The Prisoner by then. Anyway, he'd become a great figure on telly, but I hadn't heard from him. And he said, "Look, I'm thinking of doing a film of Brand," which I knew because my agent had had an inquiry about the rights. And he said, would I go down and lunch with him at Elstree Studios, where he was shooting something or other, perhaps Danger Man. I went down, there he was in fine form, and he told me about his plans, and I remember there was one scene he told me he was going to do where he was chopping down a tree, when he was building the church, and he got up and showed how he was going to chop down the tree. And so I said, "Who's going to direct it?" And Pat said, "I am."
Dilys Hamlet, who had played Brand's wife Agnes opposite Mcgoohan in 1959, recalls the rumours about the project that were circulating in 1968.
Well, we heard he was going to do a film, and he was going to do it in Norway, I think, and he was going to do it with Ingmar Bergman's cameraman called Lindqvist, whom we knew and who was a genius. And I think Patrick's wife, Joan Drummond, was going to play Agnes. And it was all going to take place, and suddenly it didn't happen. And sadly, one never knew why, which was a pity, because he was very keen, Patrick, to direct himself in it. And here I will say, I mean, I do have to say that I admired him more than I can say, and I thought he was a truly great stage actor. And for me, it's a great pity we haven't seen him in great roles on the stage as well as on television.
But sadly, that film of Brand never happened. I don't know why. It got quite some way. Lou Grade, I think, had agreed to back it. They'd done recce work in Norway even, but for some reason it never happened, and that's a pity, because it would